Today on Shop Nation, we tackle some oh so satisfying shop organization in my upper cabinets where I go from complete nightmare to knowing exactly where everything is. This video is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Maybe the worst part of all this is that I go into this cabinet a lot, so I look at that a lot. Now listen, I'm not gonna stand here and tell you that I'm proud of myself. And the truth of the matter is that there's lots of nooks and crannies like that around my shop that just don't live up to my standard. Now, if you like walking into a clean, organized shop like I do, I've actually got a whole playlist of shop organization projects that I've done around my shop, and I'm gonna continue to add to that. So if you want some ideas or inspiration for your space, go check that out. And also, if you're not already, make sure you're subscribed because I've got a lot more projects like this I gotta do in my shop. So I haven't been attentive to my OCD lately, so this is why I wanna tackle this corner cabinet, which has really just become a deep, dark, sad hole where things go to die. Frankly, I need to set a good example and make my life a lot easier. And for whatever reason, this cabinet has been my go-to spot for painting stuff as well as a couple other odds and ends. And as we all know, a recurring theme for pretty much all shop organization projects is having a dedicated space for things. And part of dedicating that space is making it tailored for a specific purpose. For that reason, I'm going to deem this corner cabinet here my painting, materials, accessories, and consumables cabinet, and I'll find homes for all the other stuff after. And one of the first things I tend to do on any organization project is spend a shit ton of money. So I went and dropped a couple $100s on the most common consumables and tools that I tend to use all the time when I'm doing painting projects, like lots of brushes, putty knives, extra rollers and all different nap sizes, a jumbo roll of painter's tape, and some disposable paint containers. Now, I'm not suggesting that you go drop hundreds of dollars just to organize your shop. At a minimum, what you should do is consolidate everything that you want to organize into one spot so you can kind of visualize what all needs to be included in whatever organizational system you come up with. So the first thing I'm gonna do is clear everything out and start separating the items that need to go elsewhere in the shop. All right, after I've got everything out of the cabinet, I've got everything laid out and arranged. Some people call this knolling, and on top of just being deeply satisfying, it gives you a clear representation of everything you want to organize. Now, to be honest, I don't even know if I can fit all of this stuff into that cabinet based on how I want to arrange everything, but I can always expand into a drawer or maybe another cabinet if I need more room. Now, one trick I plan on using in this situation, which we also did for the spray paint organization, is to use the back of the cabinet door itself to use some of the depth of the total cabinet. What this is going to do is effectively double the surface area that I have available to me because I don't have big, deep things that I really need to store. That to me is one of the hardest parts of organizing a deep cabinet because the depth usually just ends up making things lost and buried and you never see it. That's why I'm a huge fan of drawers on the lowers rather than cabinets because you can pull a drawer all the way out and see everything that's inside of it. All right, so I think I have a plan of how I kind of want to have everything organized in there. And one thing I want to do is use some of these plastic insert bin type things. I rescued these from one of these organizers you can buy at like big box stores. The thing I hate about them is you can only pull the bins out halfway when it's in the organizer. I'd much rather just take the whole bin out or have complete visibility of what's in the bin. So I'm gonna reuse these for this project and create almost kind of two shelves with all the different consumables and things I use for painting most often. This is gonna make it easy to kind of grab one if I need to take this somewhere. It's also gonna allow me to change things in the future should I find that this isn't the best setup for how I use it. I also mentioned I'll use the inside of the door here to store some of the flat tools, and since this is just 1/4 inch plywood panel, I'm gonna actually make a panel that sits on top of this that I can mount things to. So I'm gonna take the simple sketch I put together and create this organizer and shelf system just from some MDF that I have laying around the shop, and then we'll put it in place. All right, we're getting pretty close, but first, a quick word from our sponsor. It's officially that time of year again that we've all been waiting for, the start of the NFL season, which for me personally is so much more enjoyable to watch than college football because, well, and what better way to kick things off than an exciting deal from DraftKings Sportsbook? Who out there likes free money? All you have to do is bet $5 on any NFL wager and you'll get $200 in free bets. That's right, DraftKings is giving all new customers $200 in free bets when you place any $5 wager on an NFL game. Plus, with things like same game parlays, you can make multiple bets on the same game to give yourself a shot at even bigger winnings all season long. Now, for those states where sports betting is not yet available, don't forget about DraftKings Daily Fantasy, where you still might be able to win some cash this football season. Now, DraftKings has been around a long time. I'm sure you've seen commercials on TV for it, so you know your funds are safe and they can be withdrawn whenever or wherever you want. Look, if you're a suffering fan like me and maybe your team isn't in its heyday, using something like DraftKings Sportsbook is one way I've found that makes watching some of these games a little bit more fun. So if you want to get in on the action, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now, and for new customers, use promo code SHOPNATION and receive $200 in free bets instantly when you place any $5 wager. That's promo code SHOPNATION, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. So one of the problems you might run into if you've got shelf pin holes in your cabinets like I do, and you're trying to make a shallower shelf, depending on where you put your holes in the beginning, you'll find that as you're putting that shelf in, only one set of pins is really going to engage that shelf, meaning it's just going to flip over. So one trick I like to do is to create two runners on each side of the shelf, made from probably a hardwood would be the best. So I've got this extra scrap poplar laying around, and then you just put one on each end of the shelf. That way, when you go to slide it in, those runners engage all of the shelf pins, and you can have as shallow of a shelf as you want. And one of the best things about this tip is that the runners don't take up a lot of room inside the cabinet. So if you're trying to do something similar, try that. One last thing I did was add this stop to the shelf so the bins wouldn't get pushed all the way to the back of the cabinet. All right, so we got our shelves put together and our little organizer thingamabob. All that's left is to put it in the cabinet. You see, shop organization doesn't have to be complicated. Some slapped together MDF and reused little parts organizer trays made a huge difference in this cabinet. If you like shop organization, get subscribed. I've got a whole playlist of this kind of stuff, plus a bunch more coming here in the future. I appreciate each and every one of you for watching. I will see you guys on the next project, and until then, keep pursuing shop greatness.